Here, now just real quiet.
We coordinate so nicely. What a planning. Did you dress him, Pam?
I just,
We match.
gonna have to start spiffing up a little bit when we come in, I can
You
see.
have to call and coordinate colors.
That's right,
Like,
yeah.
like high school. What are you gonna wear tomorrow?
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock, we'll call this meeting to order. This is the Breezy Point City Council meeting, April 6th. It is 7 p.m. First order of business, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, the first order of business is a task that we have done previously here before several times, and is always one of the highlights of the year. It's a Lifesavers Award. And Jason, if you'd come up. Over here. Hello? If some of you remember, there was last year there was a little boy that drowned. Actually, he drowned and he was saved. And I'll read the write-up that Chief Mershman gave. And it said, on July 18th, while family was distracted with the wedding rehearsal 3 years ago, Emmett Weigel fell into Pelican Lake at the Breezy Point Resort. When paramedic officer Jason Rebar arrived on the scene, CPR was being performed by Emmett's aunt, Joni Weigel, who was an ICU nurse from Bismarck, North Dakota. Emmett had been missing between 15 and 30 minutes, but it was unknown how long he had been underwater. Good CPR was being performed and had been started immediately after Emmett was pulled from the water. Officer Rebar placed the heart monitor defib pads on Emmett, and after confirming asystole, which is basically flatline, CPR was resumed. Officer Rebar established an OI line in Emmett's left leg. The ventilators were being performed now by the crowing first responder staff with a BVM and manual jaw thrust stabilization of the neck. NMOS arrived and advanced airway was placed using the King Vision device with good lung sounds after the tube placement. ET CO2 showed a good waveform and color started to improve. After 3 rounds of epinephrine and 1 dose of sodium bicarb, pulses were restored. Emmett was transported by Air Care 2 at the Breezy Point Airport. Air Care 2 transported to the pediatric ICU at Hennepin County Medical Center, and Emmett was eventually released, returning to his home in North Dakota. Jason will always remind us that these situations are a group effort. NMOS has recognized the ambulance personnel and first responders who participated in this saving event. Our policy also provides for certificates of appreciation to private citizens in recognition of outstanding service to the department for the assistance in law enforcement efforts. Jason reports receiving valuable assistance from several Breezy Point Resort employees who took control of the situation, allowing him to take charge of to concentrate on Emmett. Joan Weigel, Dan Jewell, Lacey Joe Fox, Eric Larson will be receiving certificates for their efforts. And one thing, we received a note from Joni Weigel, and said, "My name is Joni Weigel. I'm Emmett's aunt. Emmett was drowning in a drowning accident July 18th at Breezy Point Resort. And I wanted to say thank you to Officer Jason Rebar, the EMTs, paramedics, and all the volunteers who arrived so promptly and helped establish pulse, intubate, and get Emmett transferred so quickly. There's no words to express the gratitude of all my family has for each and every one of you. While we're unsure how long Emmett was missing underwater, we're confident God was looking out for him. I am a nurse, critical care nurse, and was on the dock with Emmett when Officer Rebar arrived. I want to say thank you for taking control of the scene and placing the IO so proficiently and quickly. I truly believe this intervention and administration of epinephrine helped to save Emmett. I am beyond impressed and grateful that the Breezy Point police officers are trained as paramedics. I didn't know that at the time and couldn't believe how easily they were able to place the IO. Also, thank to the gentleman, I don't know your name, who intubated Emmett so quickly. I do remember Gunny. Gunny is a nickname for Emmett that his grandfather gave him. While I don't remember each of your names, please know that each of you and your efforts were appreciated. Charles, Emmett's dad, told me jokingly that I was a little bit rude. Please accept my deepest apologies if this was how I appeared. It's not my intention. As both a nurse and a mother, my adrenaline was going, and I was focused in regaining a pulse for my nephew Emmett. It's kind of hard to get through this. But this is something that has happened before, and it is something that we are very grateful to our police department here in Breezy Point. They have the highest level of training, and for that we receive the highest level of service. And just thank you so much from the people of Breezy Point. Next item of business is the consent calendar. And I should, at this point, I should announce one other thing. The auditor's report will be stricken from the agenda for this month. The Molly Thompson, the person from the auditor, is tied up down in St. Cloud. Evidently there's freezing rain down there, and it's kind of slippery, and so she won't be able to make it. So we will postpone the auditor's report, as you see on the agenda, until next month. The next item is the consent calendar. You have the council minutes for March 2nd, 2015, and the approval of claims totaling $111,626.99, covering checks 131-878, 879, 883, 884, and 131-886 through 131-941 inclusive, as well as the electronic check 123E. Is there anything anybody would like to remove from the consent calendar and discuss separately? Not hearing any. I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent calendar.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Consent calendar is approved. Next item of business is the open forum. Anyone wishing to come before the council and speak on any topic they so desire, they can do that now.
I'm Tracy Donovan, 9963 Pelican Trail in Pelican Township, and I'm representing the Town Board of Pelican Township. We, at our recent meeting, passed a motion at our township, which I'd like to read regarding the Breezy Point Police Department. Good night for you guys, I guess. Anyway, the motion was, our congratulations go to Officer Joseph Garcia on his 10th anniversary serving our town. We appreciate not only his, but all the other officers' efforts in keeping Pelican Township a great place to live. The board regards your entire team of officers as first-rate professionals, and we feel fortunate to be associated with each of them. We look forward to another year of our relationship with you and the other contract officers who protect and serve us. Best regards, Bruce Gallus, Chairman of the Township Council. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tracy. And it's, again, this is another recognition of the high level of performance that our police department provides to us. And we just are so very thankful for them. And as I just mentioned, anybody else for the open forum? Going once? Going twice? The open forum is closed. As I mentioned before, the auditor's report, which would normally have been presented at this time, will be presented next month. Mayor and council reports. Tonight is the night for awards. I had the privilege of going down to the cities to accept the MPCA wastewater treatment award. And it's for the city of Breezy Point in the treatment, in the operation of the wastewater treatment facility. And present this to Joe. One of the things, when we went down there, there was quite a few people there. There's quite a few people getting awards. And they announced at the beginning that there were several cities that received more than 15 awards in the past. And I just made a comment to my wife that that's going to include us. And so when they got to Breezy Point, and as they're calling out these awards, there was 10, 12, some with fewer than that. But when they got to Breezy Point, to the city of Breezy Point, it's their 33rd award since 1979. And the whole room kind of took a collective gasp, and we got a good round of applause. Of course, they were applauding everybody, but not to the level that we received. And this type of an award, as I was thinking about it on the way home, 33 is a good number. But when you factor in the fact that the award is given for filling out the forms, making sure everything is running right, but it's also the competence and the dedication to duty that the operators on the front line have. It's also the support that the water treatment facility gets from the city, making sure that they're given the tools and the wherewithal to fix things before they're broken. And it even goes to the design of the plant. The designers did a really good job making a really good plant. We're keeping it running well. And I'm just very thankful that since I'm on city sewer that it keeps running really nice. So Joe, congratulations. Another part of my duties is I'm a commissioner for the Region 5 Development Commission, and they are in a project to be creating a community profile for all of the cities within the 5-county area. And I just got an email just a few days ago requesting support to put together a community profile for Breezy Point, and they are going to be having a workshop, and they would like to have 8 to 10 selected members of the community to participate in this. And I put together a list of some people that I thought would be good to have on the list. And I'm open to taking nominations of others. I haven't talked to anybody yet about being on it. What they're looking for is 8 to 10 community members from the business community, farmers, and I don't think we have any farmers in Breezy Point anymore, historians, high school student, artists, for a very short workshop to be held towards the end of this month, on the 23rd of April. I did put together some who I thought were significant business community members, and I would be looking for maybe, or from input from the council as to anybody else that they thought would be good candidates for this.
When do you want the names?
I would like the names preferably by the end of the end of the
Okay.
week, because we have a
I thought
pretty
you were
short
saying
time
end of the
frame.
meeting.
End of the
Okay.
meeting?
End of the, no, end of the meeting.
Okay.
For those of you not familiar with the Region 5 Development Council, it's a consortium of representatives from 5 counties: Todd, Crow Wing, Cass, Wadena, and Morrison counties. Well, the best way to describe them is they're coordinators for various grants and economic activities that can truly help our community. And as we are going through an update of our comprehensive plan right now, this could tailor directly into the development and could be a contributor to that community, to the comprehensive plan. The other item of business that I have is coming up later this month, the 16th, at 10 a.m. is the Board of Equalization. That will be held here. We need to get people take the training. There's online training, and I hope each and every one of you would take that training so that we can have more than just one person be qualified for Board of Equalization. Shouldn't take too long. That's it for the mayor's report. Council members, Councilmember Bakken, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Councilmember Williams?
No.
Councilmember Schmidt?
No, I don't have anything, sorry to say.
Okay. Next item of business is engineer report for the progress on Snowman Circle and Thrain Drive.
Mr. Mayor and City Council, City Administrator Rutherford put together a memo in your packet on the Snowman Circle Thrain Drive paving. I'll try and summarize it. There were 3 bids received. The low bid was from Anderson Brothers Construction at $44,949.31. That was below the engineer's estimate and below the study estimate. The Snowman Circle construction was $39,257.78, and the construction cost for Thrain Drive was $5,691.53. You have a resolution in your packet, 1507. That resolution declares the costs of the project, calls for the preparation of the assessment roll, and sets the public hearing date and time for Monday, April 27th at 7 p.m. There is additional information in the packet on the cost split and how those costs are specially assessed. I guess I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Mayor, for any questions.
I was going to say, any questions for the engineer at this point? Commissioner Bakken?
No.
Councilman
No.
Bakken? Councilman Williams? Councilman Schmidt? I'll entertain a motion for
I'll make a motion for resolution 1507.
1507. There we are.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Resolution is approved. Pequot Fire Lakes contract. Pequot Lakes has provided us with a fire contract for 2015-16 contract year, and has been rewritten and revised by their city attorney, and approves more detail and protection for both parties. I believe this is a good improvement over the past contract language. The amount of the contract is a total of $76,027.66. The last year contract was $74,335. consider a motion to approve the contract. Yes, we'll take a motion first.
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Councilman Schmidt?
No.
Councilman Williams?
Yeah, I have a question for Joe. It says Pequot Lake, item 8, Pequot Lake shall maintain insurance equal to or greater than the maximum liability applicable to municipalities. So we don't pay any of that fire insurance then, or they, that, and then in the one above it also says, it's further agreed Breezy Point has no responsibility beyond paying the agreed upon payment amount and other charges identified above for acquiring, operating, maintaining, housing, or replacing equipment as needed.
The insurance requirements are handled as part of the contract costs,
Okay.
and so they're included, and I think this is just a general statement saying that that everything will be included as far as,
Okay, then it kind of brings mind a question I
Yep.
had for you about paying any payments on our building, because it says Breezy Point has no responsibility beyond the agreed payment for acquiring, operating, maintaining, housing, or replacing equipment. So.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I'm questioning that statement that about maintaining our building if there were a need for a new roof. I'm questioning this statement here in item 7. It sounds, the way it sounds is like we make those payments and we're done.
We are done, but we also agreed to maintain this building. And so that's outside of this contract. And so I'm not sure that's answering your question, but that's the simple part of it. They have a substation, they provide equipment for it, they provide the personnel and the training, excuse me, for that, for the fire department activities, but we provide the building.
I'm just seeing how this could be then misleading.
Okay. I didn't read it that way, but I guess I understand your point. I sure can talk to them about it.
It almost sounds like they will maintain the building, or their share of it, by reading this.
I don't read that into it, but I guess,
I'm not seeing that either.
no.
Oh, and it says Breezy Point has no responsibility beyond paying the agreed payment amount, which was already listed,
It says,
for maintaining, housing, replacing equipment as needed to provide the fire services.
They're providing the fire service, they're providing, you know, the actions of the fire department. We just have a building that houses their equipment.
right, it says the Breezy Point shall have Breezy Point shall have no responsibility whatsoever toward the firefighters or other emergency personnel, including any employment-related issues such as training, supervision, performance reviews, discipline, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's saying that they are responsible for the personnel. We are not. That's all this is
Right.
saying.
But then the next sentence, it is further agreed.
Yeah, Breezy Point has no responsibility beyond paying the agreed upon payment amount and other charges identified above for acquiring, operating, and maintaining housing or replacing. We just have a building here that we have for our public safety.
Correct. We do.
Right.
We do. But the point comes out that Breezy Point citizens end up paying twice.
No.
Yes, we do, because we pay money to Pequot that maintains where they keep their fire trucks. And we pay to maintain ours above and beyond, with no help from the general, or the bigger fire department. So we pay, not only do we chip in on the Pequot facility, we pay for this facility with no help. So we're paying twice.
Okay, I guess I don't see it that way, but,
We're paying for the housing of the equipment in this building.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you're getting at.
And we also isn't part of our fire contract, money that we pay used to house the equipment in Pequot as well?
I would assume so. I really don't know exactly. I mean, if you look at their budget provides for operating costs. There is no debt service for the building and that sort of thing at that location that I'm aware of. But I suppose it could be in there someplace. There's no line item for housing in their budget.
Because essentially, if I remember right, they're just taking the expenses and dividing them up based on the fire calls, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so that's what we're paying for is essentially
Operations.
operations based on our, essentially our risk. It's based on our fire calls. Pretty much.
Use and value divided by 2 or 5 or whatever it is, yeah.
So I think I can
don't-
understand what you're saying.
I don't
but
have their budget in front of me,
Yeah.
but,
You
no,
can go to the
be
fire board if you want. Okay, we don't really have an answer for your question. What are you proposing?
I'm proposing a clarification.
Okay,
And because I wonder, as I've spoken to Joe before,
Yep.
what happens when that building needs some major repair of some kind?
The building is our responsibility.
Just us.
Yep.
But reading this, maintaining, housing, replacing the equipment, that would be considered housing the equipment.
We can certainly ask for a clarification if you'd like. I think they're going to interpret that as their housing at the fire station proper,
Not this fire station.
not this fire station.
It's not totally clear to me.
Okay.
okay, well, there's a motion and a second on the floor.
Mayor, again, just a question to Joe. Compared to the previous contract, isn't this basically the same?
They've changed the wording. It's been rewritten. The contract's been rewritten. It's a lot more detailed. They have a new city attorney, and he felt it was necessary to rewrite the contract. And I cannot, unless I sit down with the two side by side, I couldn't tell you exactly what the difference is, but it's about twice as long, and it's
Is there any reason why we have to approve this tonight?
not necessarily.
Well, can I move the table this? I'll move the table and then bring it back next month.
I will second that since I made the motion and ask for clarification and bring it back next month.
Okay, we'll agree to table the discussion until next month.
You take a motion on the tabling? Don't you?
Yeah, I made a motion to table.
Yeah, I know, I mean,
Okay,
a vote, I'm sorry.
Do we have to vote on the
Yeah.
tabling?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of tabling?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We will table this until next month. Okay, North Paramedic contract. Kevin, if you want to help us out on this one.
It's basically the same contract we've had since the inception of the program. Initially, I was under the understanding there were no changes, but there is one slight change. About a year ago, we added some additional duty or responsibility, I guess, that has to deal with documenting its paperwork side. When Jason or Joseph do an advanced procedure such as an IO or giving medication, it's a paperwork issue so that there isn't any mistakes and the paperwork goes on with the patient onto the hospital. That's the only change. Otherwise, it's the same.
Renewing the police paramedic contract.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Further discussion?
No,
Councilman
we
Williams?
saw a perfect example tonight of the value of this program.
Right.
Hmm.
Councilman Schmidt?
Chief, what you just mentioned, where does that appear? Which section does that appear in the contract, evidently the new contract?
It's not in that version. When they had mailed it to me,
Okay.
and I hadn't received it in time for packets to go out. Administrator Rudberg actually has the change. I passed them on to him for signing.
So that appears as, well, I'm just trying to see where it would be contained.
It was toward the end. It's not in that version.
I understand that, but did they place it in the miscellaneous provisions, or?
It, under department responsibilities, it's actually an addendum. Schedule 1-2, number 11 says respond in a timely fashion, and they added it right there, actually, I believe.
Why don't you just read it to us?
Adhere to the Breezy Point Department operational responsibilities as described by North Ambulance, and then it's an additional document laying out those responsibilities that have to do with the paperwork and some securing of the drugs. We came up with they were concerned about the drugs being secured, and we came up with a zip tie seal and a log to maintain that security. It was mentioned in a brief probably a little over a year ago where we had made that change.
So that Schedule 1-2 is where the change comes?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
And if you'd like to see it in full, I got it right here now.
So,
Councilman Schmidt has a- take a look.
This is the change here. Okay.
And I wasn't, when I put the memo out, I wasn't aware of that minor change until I got it in the mail. As Kevin had said, there were no changes. But it wasn't news. It was what we've been, already had implemented a year ago.
With the cursory review of that, all those in favor?
I,
All those opposed? The contract is approved. That completes the business that we had on the agenda. The meeting is adjourned.
Go Badgers.
That's right, they're playing tonight. Can you say that?
I'll come back to that in a second, but